As a kid, I was really scared about going to hell. Like the concept of hell was really frightening. One thing I remember doing is that I took a match and I lighted on, and I blew the match out, and I put it on my arm just to see how it feels. It was really hot, and I remember thinking, this is too painful. And then I imagine this all over your body forever. And I couldn't even imagine how could anybody tolerate it? How could it so consumed me that I remember crying one time thinking about me going to hell or my parents going to hell. And I remember my aunt coming to me and asking me why I was crying. And then when I told her, and she mentioned that, no, don't worry, hell, most people are never going to go to hell. Hell is for the worst of the worst people. And that calmed me down for a bit until I went to school. This was before school, but the teachers in school, in later years, they told us that actually most people are going to end up in hell. Even most Muslims are going to end up in hell. If you missed one prayer, if you missed one day of fasting, if you doubted God ever, you have to pay for it. And I knew I still had a chance because I wasn't an adult yet, and these things were not mandatory for me yet. But I noticed that my parents were not praying, my parents weren't fasting. And I asked my teachers in elementary school, so my dad, my mom, they're going to burn in hell? And the answer was like, yes, they're going to burn in hell. I tried to argue with them. I was like, is there any way they're not going to listen to me. What can I do? Like, well, when they die, you could pray the prayers that they missed and do fast on non-Ramadan days for the fasting that they missed. But while you're catching up, they're going to burn in hell until you catch up to all their prayers. And their teacher, actually, I remember, he took a pen and paper and he's like, how old is your mom? How old is your dad? Let's say they die at this. And he added up all the prayers that I had to do for them not to burn. And we both concluded that there's no way I could catch up. So I would have to pay somebody to do the prayers for them so that they could come out of hell. So okay, so I have to get rich, I have to make enough money so I could hire some people to pray the prayers that they miss, so I make sure that my parents don't end up in hell. In Islam, you're without sin until you reach the age of reason. So for boys, that's 15. For girls, that's 9. According to what they told us in school. I understand later that some Muslims have a different understanding of what those exact years are, or some people say it's just the age of reason, there's no specific number for it. But my understanding was, based on what they told us in school, that before 15, anything I do is not counted as a sin. Suicide is a sin, but not if I do it before age 15. So I thought, if I kill myself before age 15, there's only one destination for me, heaven. I wanted to make sure I got this right, so I asked my teachers, why wouldn't I just kill myself to make sure I don't go to hell? And the only comeback they had for me for why I shouldn't do that is because if children die, they go to heaven, that's true, but they go to the lowest part of heaven. There are many different levels of heaven. The highest part is for the martyrs, where it's exactly next to Muhammad, where Muhammad is. But if I die as a child, I go to the lowest part of heaven. They say if you earn heaven with good deeds, then you go to a higher level. So that's why I shouldn't kill myself, because you could go to a better part of heaven. But I thought, who the fuck cares? I just want to not go to hell. I'm content with the lowest part of heaven. Why would I gamble? Why would I take a chance, even the slightest chance of burning forever, even burning for thousands of, because they told you the smallest amount of sin will get you years and years in hell, and then you go to heaven. I said, I can't take 10 minutes of burning. Years of burning? Forget that. So I jumped out of my school window attempting to kill myself around age 12 to make sure I go to heaven. And I wasn't successful. I remember seeing my dad cry for the first time. I saw my mom going crazy on the ground, and she was so distressed. And my father, what I did to them was so tragic, and I felt so bad that I didn't try it again. I broke both my legs, my left ankle, my left arm, and I fractured my back. Luckily, I didn't cut my spine. I was in a wheelchair, in my bed and wheelchair for around 7 months. I missed 1 year of school. When I took Islam more seriously, I started studying it. The problem is that the concept of hell still stayed with me. Even as a Muslim, my parents were still going to, even though I thought I could avoid hell by now, when I reached 15, I was like, okay, game on. I can't miss a prayer anymore. I can't miss a day of fasting anymore. But my parents were still not practicing Islam. Even though they were Muslim by name, they were not practicing it. And they were going to still end up in hell. And I remember at home, we watched BBC, we watched Hollywood movies, and always all I could think of is like, that reporter, he's not a Muslim, he's gonna burn in hell forever. That actor that everybody here in Iran seems to celebrate that guy, but don't they remember that he's gonna burn in hell forever? And I'm like, how could all these people burn in hell forever? I decided that I'm gonna study other religions. Maybe they aren't as bad. Maybe they're kinda Muslim light. I told myself, listen, Islam is proven by logic and reason. So I shouldn't be worried about examining Islam through logic and reason, because at the end of the day, I'm going to come back to this conclusion. The more I look, the more doubtful I got. And I remember actually praying to God. I was scared. I was crying. I was telling God that, I'm going down a path that I'm losing faith in you. And if you're out there, please don't punish me if I ever lose my faith in you. Please, anything, any sign, any evidence, the smallest amount of miracle that you could send me my way, I appreciate that. If you're there, talk to me, say something, do something. I'm losing you. You're the only thing I have. You're my only friend, my only refuge. Talk to me, anything. And nothing. When I lost my faith in God, I decided that even if God is imaginary, I'm still going to talk to him because he was the only thing I had. But I couldn't, once I realized that I'm the creator of this God that I'm talking to, instead of him being my creator, the conversation became much less meaningful and much less rewarding than it used to be. So my talks with him became less and less, and eventually it completely stopped, and I called myself an atheist at that point.